Hi everyone, this is Susie here, and today I'm going to be starting some flower seeds. It's about the end of March, and I thought I'd take you through the process of how I do some of my seeds. I'm hoping to not make too long of a video, but it might get a little bit longer depending on how long it takes me to do this. So I would say grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and enjoy. I know a lot of people know how to sow seeds, so it's going to be kind of boring for you to watch, but I figure it's kind of nice and relaxing just to watch and I love watching people sow seeds, even if it's just plunking them in there. I don't know, there's just something so relaxing about it. So all of my little trays, this is just that little 6-pack that I had left over, and I thought I would just go ahead and use this for one of my sweet peas. It's pre-moistened soilless seed starting mix. And the first one I'm going to be doing is this sweet pea Molly Rillstone. And in this packet of seeds, all I got were 6 seeds. So wish me luck. What I've been doing is I just took a paper towel here and I had moistened it so that way these seeds can soak a little bit. We'll see if that works. I think other people have taken it where they've kind of scarified, where they take a file and wear down the seed coat. I'll see how this works. But there are 6 seeds, so it'll go into these 6 little cells here. Make sure I have the correct one. I just kind of, I don't know if you can see that I did an MR for Molly Rillstone. Just pretty basic. So these seeds, all I'm going to do, so I'm just going to put them, I would like to have 2 per cell just to make sure that at least one comes up, but I don't have that with these. Just going to place them in here for now. And then I'm going to push them down about a half of an inch to an inch deep. I just use my finger for this. They're pretty big seeds, which is kind of nice to work with for once. Then I'll just cover that over with the soil. That way there's no hole there. And I just kind of firm it ever so lightly. I don't want to push it down. I don't want to just really pack that soil in there. But I still want to just firm it a little bit. Make sure there's no air pockets or anything. And then I'm just going to set this aside. I know sweet peas on the packets say that they germinate, let's see, between 55 and 65 degrees. So I'm going to have to try and find a cooler spot for this because in my grow room right now it's pretty warm. And they might germinate in there, but I know I have another room with a west window that it's a little bit cooler, and see how that works. So that is the first sweet pea. They're new for me, so wish me luck. I can't wait. I'll still keep the packet, that way when I do make my labels, I'll know how to label it. And then in this little tray here, I'm going to be sewing 2 different kinds. So I just took my blue tape here and put on each side, make sure I put the right sweet pea in there. And then I just kind of do a little divider line. You probably wouldn't have to if you're really good about keeping it separated, but this is just what I do. So the first one I'm going to be doing is Sweet Pea Edward of York. And that is that one. That's really pretty pink color. There were more seeds in this packet, so I do have some left over. So if they don't germinate, I can always try it again. They say to start about 4 to 6 weeks indoors before the last frost date, which is usually around May 15th for me, but you never know what the way the season is. Make sure I have the right one here. Oh. I do not. It has CO for a different one. I'm glad I checked that out. Don't make that mistake. I mean, you'll know when they come up what color they are, but for the flowers I'm not too worried about it. I can kind of tell what certain flowers look like by their leaves, but if you do that with your tomatoes or peppers, good luck, especially if you've got hot peppers and sweet peppers. So double check. Edward of York. And I just real basic EOY. And then I think I'm just going to push these down right away so I don't lose track of where they are. Probably don't have to do all of these seeds. I didn't realize I had that many on there. Hopefully you all can see this, that I'm in view, and hopefully you can hear me. And I'm not editing yet. It's just, it takes a long time to edit. And again, I do think there's just something very relaxing about watching someone do this and taking the time, and it just kind of teaches us patience too. You know, probably could have done a whole tray. You know what, I'm just going to do this many with this one. I'm going to set this aside, and I might do another tray. Then maybe have it under different growing conditions, see what works out better, do a little test. So this one here that I'm sowing is, I think I'm butchering it, it's Kupani's Original, which is that color right there, which I think is really pretty. I'm thinking this year, given the circumstances of what everyone's going through, I'm starting a whole lot of seeds, a lot, with vegetable seeds, flower seeds, and I'm going to make sure I have enough for myself and for my friends and family members. And then after that, I think I'm just going to put the rest out on my curb and just put a free sign, and people can just help themselves. I was thinking about selling them this year, but I don't know if I want to do that. I just think right now things are just a little hectic. So I'm hoping that I have really good germination and good luck with all of this. That would be kind of cool if I could do that. I think my neighbors would really appreciate it too. I do live on a dead-end street, so I would probably do a little bit of advertising, but I have some really cool neighbors. I'm hoping my tomato seeds really work out. Last year I had done tomatoes, and they didn't work out for me. I had to go to the greenhouse and get some starts. My peppers did good, but my tomatoes, I think after about 4 weeks they just wilted. So I don't know if it was a bad potting mix. Couldn't be the requirements in my room because it's a pretty good setup. I'm not going to say it's like 100% foolproof, but it's pretty decent. So again, I'm just kind of covering up the holes here, packing it down just a little bit. Then I'll just set this off to the side here. Just cover that back up. I'll have to figure out where I can plant these. I'm running out of those little trays. I'm going to have to be doing some potting up here pretty soon, so I'll take you through that process too. Here, one moment. I have my fan going. That might be interfering with the sound. I forgot to turn that off before starting the video. Okay, so and then in this one I'm going to be doing bunny tails and greater quaking grass. Again, just the divider line. Especially this one because there are two types of grasses. So in this first cell here, if I'm in view, will be bunny tails. And I think that is so neat looking. And this is a good cut flower, if you want to call grass a flower, but I think that would look really cool in arrangement. And then go according to your seed packet as to how deep to sow things. This also says keep at 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a grass, I'm not overly concerned about that, but it says the planting depth is 1/4 of an inch. These seeds are pretty small. Oh, I did that. Don't do what I did. There's a sticky part to the envelope, so make sure to do it when you pour them out on the non-sticky side. So now I've got all those seeds stuck to that. I'll try and get them off. I do that so much. So with this, I'm just gonna sow pretty heavily. I think I'm just gonna do little clumps of these grasses here. I know they say thin to 1 seedling, but I don't know. That doesn't look like that would be enough to create a good sized plant. I could be wrong. Let me know what you would do. If you would just, heavily sow it and then do kind of like little plugs of your seeds, so there might be 7, 8 seeds to each little plant, or if you would just thin to 1 seedling. Alright, I'm just gonna see if I can tap that off. Oh, I'll just do that. Whoops. And they say this is a really easy grass to grow, that this is even great for kids to be doing too. So if kids can do it, I think I can do it. And then in this one, I'm going to be doing greater quaking grass. There's no picture on that, unfortunately, but it has really cool seed heads. So I can't wait. These are a bit bigger. They're kind of weird looking. Huh. And this says how depth is 1/8 of an inch. You would think that these would be deeper than the other ones because these are so tiny compared to that, but I might leave that open. I think I have a little bit too much here. They feel weird, like almost popcorn husks. Very dry, crumbly. I don't want to press too hard. I'm afraid I'm going to crush it. That might not be an issue, but... And again, I think I might sow this heavily too. Well, not might, I am. And then do little clumps. I can always thin those clumps a little bit later too as they get bigger. But I'd still like to know what you would do. I love all the information that you guys give me on germinating seeds. Because I'm definitely not an expert. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. That's why I sow pretty heavily, and some seeds work and the rest just trial and error. So in this one, I'm not going to push it down. I'm just going to go ahead and take some soil here that I have and just sprinkle it over. Doing my best to cover the seeds. Hopefully this isn't too boring for you. You find it a little relaxing. You might hear the hum of my fish tank. I find that peaceful. Can you believe it? I named him Oscar. I had gotten him when I had like a little above ground pond just to keep the mosquito at bay. Well, I didn't have the heart to get rid of him at the end of the season, so instead I bought that great big fish tank and brought him in. He did have another one that was another fish along with him. She was pretty, her name was Cleo, but unfortunately she didn't make it. But yeah, he's going to be 7 years old in June. I think that's pretty good. Especially for a goldfish. But they are dirty, dirty, dirty fish. Nice thing is I am using that water whenever I do the like a little exchange from it to water my plants. I'm just firming the soil down slightly. Oh, I might put a little bit more in there. You can see some of these seeds are, and I don't really want to push them. I feel like I'm going to crush them. I think that's good. Hopefully. Alright, next little tray here, and these are going to be my Cleome. I have two different kinds. Again, this one I definitely don't want to mix up because until they start flowering, I won't know what color they will be. For me, it's not that big of a deal because I'm going to grow these in my cut flower garden, but for other people, if I am selling, they will all be labeled. And if they have a color scheme that they're going with, I'm not saying that, you know, a stray seed couldn't have gotten into one of these, because I've had that happen with Nicotiana, where like the lime green, and I've pricked out some seeds, and as they start growing, they were different colors. So it can happen, but it's kind of fun too. This first one is Cleome Violet Queen, not that one. So Cleome is a little, I have some issues with this, with germinating, because I know it says surface sow, so I'm just gonna broadcast it over the surface. But I know I have another little tray planted, and it does take a bit. It says sprout time 5 to 30 days, so I will give it a little bit. The only thing is I know that the seeds are starting to look a little bit fuzzy. Maybe that's normal, but I don't want to take a chance, so I'm definitely going to be sowing another little tray of this. And it says flat temp 60 to 70 degrees, so I think my grow room should be decent enough for that. I think once I can turn that heat mat off, I can manage the temp a little bit more, because it's a cloudy day today, but when that sun is out, it really heats it up in here. Oh, do that. I don't like to have soil in my hand, because if I put the seeds back in and there's soil in there and it's wet, I don't want to ruin these seeds. I like to keep as many for every year. Kind of cuts down on the expense. Let's see. I think that'll be good. And they're really tiny. Try to space them as evenly as I can. That way pricking them out won't be so difficult. I did some snapdragons, and for some reason they're all kind of grouped together, and I didn't aim for doing that. I don't know why, and I don't water from up above. Not until my plants get to a decent size, but when I'm starting seeds, it's always bottom watered. And it helps cut down on the fungus gnats, that it's not so saturated on top. This is Cleome Rose Queen. One moment. And same thing, I'm just gonna sow this on the surface. I don't know if I showed you a picture of that. I think, won't that look awesome together? These colors, I can't wait. And then the Nicotiana lime green, that's why it's like, I have high hopes for this, and it's a really neat flower. And it just brings in the pollinators, and oh, there's a lot more seeds in this one. And the butterflies. That seems a bit much. Okay, so I'm just gonna firm these down a little bit so the seed makes good contact with the soil. right, and then the next flower I'm going to be sowing today is a Mexican sunflower torch, Tithonia. And I do urge everyone to plant this flower. This just brings in the monarchs. I mean, hence the butterflies, hence the butterfly on it. It really does. It is just amazing to watch. Hummingbirds love it too. Bees love it. Be careful when you're deadheading. So this seed packet says, sow indoors 6 to 8 weeks before planting out. Keep it 70 to 75. Again, this room should be good. It says surface to 1/8 of an inch. The seeds are a bit bigger. I will cover them a little bit. Let's see. I'm doing a whole tray of this. It is a favorite, and I know that family members and friends love this too. I think I am going to run out of space for all these plants, but I'm hoping that if we have a decent spring, some of these can start going outside for an earlier hardening off process and just stay out there till they're ready to plant. Looks pretty good. And this, I'm just going to take some soil. Again, it's pre-moistened. However you like to do it. If you prefer working with dry mixes and then watering it, go for it. Whatever works for you. I just like doing this because I have had issues in the past where when I go to water, especially when I bottom water, that you put it in, it just all bubbles and the seeds just get dispersed everywhere. And this way I know that everything is evenly moist. I can't wait. I hope I have good germination with this. I know I have another packet of these. That is how much I like it. It does get really tall, so you need to make sure you have a good space for it. It's a really, and I think they say space at about 3 feet apart from the other one. That is true. So you are going to need to stake it up or provide some support for it. But it is definitely worth it. Okay, so I'm just gonna pack it down just a little bit. I know I always say that. And then I have it labeled, I have the date. Pardon my handwriting. I don't have the best penmanship. Okay, so then with all of these flowers, again, my sweet peas, I'm gonna put in kind of a cooler area. And then I'm going to, the other seeds that I have here, I'm going to have to try and figure something out. I might put them in a warmer area, see what I have better germination with. Just do a little test, which is kind of fun. And then the other ones, I'm just going to put it in, I can fit 3 in a tray here, which I might as well just go ahead and do now. And right now all my lights are on and I have a room over there. It's not going to hurt because all of this needs light for germination, but I'm just putting it where it fits right now. I'm just kind of looking over there. I might have to revamp some stuff, but what am I looking for? Nope, this one right here. And then what I'm going to do quick here is I'm just going to put a little more water in this tray, let it soak for about 20 minutes so everything is evenly saturated. Make sure the seeds on top get a little bit moist. And put a humidity dome on. Pop it over on my grow stand. And fingers crossed and hope for the best with germination. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit long. I know it's seed sowing and a lot of people know how to do it and it can get a little bit boring, but I love watching the process, and also when I watch people sow seeds, I get ideas from them. It's really neat. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this and happy seed sowing. Bye for now.